Texas voters approved billions of dollars to make sure the state has enough water to meet future needs.
It truly is a generational investment in reliable water, wastewater, and flood infrastructure for communities across Texas.
But you'll have to wait years before seeing an impact, while the spending won't start right away. July's deadly floods revealed the need for more warnings for people along Texas rivers. We investigate the challenges and why some counties have not met new state requirements. The fight over redistricting started in Texas, but the next round goes to another state.
It's a victory for the people of the state of California and the United States of America.
California redraws its congressional map to favor Democrats after Texas boosts Republicans. The new developments in the fight for who controls Congress.
Produced from the Capitol in Austin and airing statewide, this is the award-winning State of Texas.
Hello, and thank you for joining us. I'm Josh Hinkle. Texas voters approved a $20 billion plan to help address concerns about the state's water supply. The money will pay for projects to improve infrastructure and find new sources of water, but it won't happen right away. Capitol correspondent Dylan McKim discovered the new funding will not start making an impact until the end of the decade.
Back in February, the Texas Water Development Board approved its first round of Texas Water Fund dollars through the Rural Water Assistance Fund. More than $35 million for projects to prevent water loss in 10 small Texas towns. The money is part of the $1 billion voters approved for the Water Fund in 2023.
I've been a water operator for 43 years, and this is the first time I've been fortunate enough to get funding from the Water Development Board. And I can't thank y'all enough.
This is Bruce Alexander, the superintendent of the East Medina County Special Utility District. His water system was awarded more than $2 million to replace 7,200 linear feet of water mains. According to the Water Development Board, the entire state lost 158 billion gallons of water in 2023. That's partly why lawmakers asked voters to approve the Water Fund, to protect the water we already have. As of September, the Water Development Board has committed $735 million of the original $1 billion investment. On Tuesday, voters approved another $20 billion for the fund. Experts say the investment is vital.
Texas is facing more than $200 billion in water, wastewater, and flood infrastructure needs in the next 50 years. So this $20 billion is a really important first step.
But the Water Board says that new money will not be available until the fall of 2029. 4 years from now, creating a possible gap in funding when the original $1 billion runs out, if it does.
We're hoping that we'll have some creative measures by the Texas Water Development Board in using the funds that we have available to make sure and stretch those as far as we can for projects that are coming in the door.
This is a really big deal, and I'm excited.
Dylan McKim, State of Texas.
The Water Development Board did say in an email it did not yet have a plan to allocate the new water fund dollars, but the email did say the board is working with stakeholders to create an implementation plan. Governor Greg Abbott had the investment in water on his list of emergency items for lawmakers. Voters approved that and more of his priority items on election night. Abbott called for property tax relief, and voters approved propositions to raise the homestead exemption and provide an additional break for seniors and disabled persons. Voters also answered Abbott's call for bail reform. Proposition 3 passed, requiring the denial of bail for certain violent offenses if a judge finds the defendant to be a flight risk or a danger to the community. The governor also pushed for an investment into career training education, and voters agreed, approving more funding for Texas State Technical College. It will take a little longer to fill a seat in Congress that's been open for more than 8 months. The special election for District 18 in the Houston area will go to a runoff. Harris County Attorney Christian Menefee led the 16-candidate field, earning 29% of the vote. Former Houston City Council member Amanda Edwards pulled in 26% of the vote. Both candidates fell far short of the 50% needed to avoid a runoff. The seat has been vacant since March when Congressman Sylvester Turner died in office.
I don't like that my daughter had to die for this to take place.
July's deadly floods revealed the need for more warnings for those along rivers.
From when you were appointed in 2021 till now in 2025, how come you didn't stop to ask why aren't these sirens working?
We investigate the challenges and the counties that have not met new state requirements. The father of 18-year-old Chloe Childress, who was among the 27 killed at Camp Mystic during deadly July 4th flooding in the Hill Country, says outdoor warning sirens could have saved lives.
One more layer. It's one more layer of protection, one more layer of opportunity to let folks have the opportunity to evacuate.
In all, at least 135 people died in that disaster across the region. 2 months later, Governor Abbott signed a new law requiring sirens in 30 flood-prone areas. But our investigation finds many Central Texas counties still don't have a single siren in place. Investigator Matt Grant visited one community rushing to catch up and spoke with a local family whose loss is driving the call for change.
Memories like these are all that remain of 8-year-old Linny McCown.
She had a contagious giggle, was so silly and funny and just so sweet.
She was my little angel.
Austin parents Callie and Michael say their daughter's death at Camp Mystic never should have happened.
She even said, I know I'm going to get homesick, but everyone will take care of me. And then she didn't come home.
How could this happen?
Camp Mystic is located in Kerr County in an area referred to as Flash Flood Alley. There are no warning sirens there, which officials say could have made a difference.
Yes, sir, Senator. There's no question that that could have saved lives.
These are the ones that are considered most at risk.
Despite the life-saving potential, we found no statewide tracking of sirens. So we combed through online records and reached out to nearly 24 Central Texas counties. 10 currently have no sirens, most of those located in areas the Federal Emergency Management Agency considers a moderate to high risk of flooding.
A law that will save lives.
Something state leaders aim to address.
We're looking to provide grant funding from the state of Texas to ensure that flood-prone areas like this are going to have the warning systems they need by this next summer camp time period, to make sure that if an event like this does occur again, those warning systems will go off in a way that will do everything possible to protect lives.
Under a new state law, the 30 counties Governor Greg Abbott included in his July disaster declaration are now eligible for siren grants, like Burnett and Travis, which currently have no sirens. Both plan to install them and are now able to apply for state funding.
The money could be used to help specific cities within eligible counties too, like Martindale and Caldwell County along the San Marcos River.
Around 6 p.m. on a recent weekday, wailing echoed for miles, a first-time test residents are warned about, done when many are home to hear it.
After the flooding, did this really become a priority for you?
Yes, it absolutely did, and for many of our residents. It just became clear how quickly it could happen here again.
Mayor Laura Sanchez Fowler says fixing the city's broken sirens was a priority after she was elected this year. After July 4th, that sped up. They became operational within 2 weeks. The state funding could pay for future additions.
We've got to be planning right now before it happens again, because it will happen again.
The mayor says the city's sirens were installed in 2018 for less than $20,000, following 2015 flooding that impacted this area and across the region left 13 people dead.
Sends a transmission and it'll set it off.
Police Chief Tommy Ward admits for years the city failed to check if the sirens even worked.
From when you were appointed in 2021 till now in 2025, how come you didn't stop to ask why aren't these sirens working?
You know, that's on me. I'll take that. I just assumed that they were working by the county and if the county had maintained them. You know, I'll take accountability for that.
Now he's pressing the button to sound the alarm monthly.
You know, river can rise at any moment.
So you're not taking any chances?
We're not going to take any more chances.
This phone is too overloaded.
Republican State Senator Paul Betancourt pushed for river sirens days after this summer's deadly floods, saying mobile alerts alone aren't enough.
You want to try to get as many chances to get the public's attention that trouble is on the way.
Critics note warning sirens are expensive, require routine maintenance, are only meant to be heard outdoors, and can cause confusion. In Martindale, they're also testing tornado sirens. The challenge, making sure people know the difference.
We need to educate everyone about what those sirens actually mean.
So how do you differentiate between a siren that's telling you shelter in place
versus a signal to get out as quick as you can?
I'm not aware of any way we can do that right now.
Dr. Carrie Stevens teaches disaster and crisis communication at UT Austin. She says sirens are only part of a solution that should be combined with mobile alerts and public education. So just funding these sirens isn't enough?
Not at all. It's along with the education and the communication efforts.
I think about it every single day on why them.
In September, the McCowns joined other Camp Mystic families in backing new safety rules, including sirens.
Do you think that will make a difference?
I believe it will, yes, absolutely.
While the family says Linny's death could have been prevented,
100%.
100%.
They hope her memory is a warning that can save others.
I don't like that my daughter had to die for this to take place, and I don't want any other parent to ever have to suffer the way that we have suffered these past 2 months and will suffer for the rest of our lives.
Matt Grant, State of Texas.
Last month, San Marcos, which has touted its sirens as a vital tool for emergency preparedness, blamed a server malfunction after they failed to activate during a tornado warning. The city's sirens also didn't sound during a flash flood warning in May. Officials said the sirens were temporarily turned off in response to residents confusing the flood alarm for a tornado. Online now, see if you can tell the difference between Martindale's different warnings. We have a video showing both tests. You can also see which counties have weather sirens and which don't. Just look for the link in this week's State of Texas story on our website. Thousands of students drop out of Texas public schools every year, but the reasons why are not always clear. We investigate how state data leaves an unclear picture of why students are not at school. The fight over redistricting started in Texas with a plan to boost Republicans. Now California makes a move to favor Democrats. What these changes mean for the fight to control Congress. State data shows tens of thousands of Texas students withdrawing or dropping out of public schools every year, many under a broad category known as Code 98. Investigator Kelly Wiley found blind spots in state data, and that's creating an unclear picture of why many of the state's youngest and most vulnerable students are not at school.
She misses being at school. She wanted to play volleyball. She had just gotten started with cheer. She wants to do theater, so she's missing out on all of that.
For months, our team has been looking into the case of a 7th grade Paredes Middle School student who was withdrawn from the Austin Independent School District last school year. The family of the 12-year-old asked us not to name her, but records they provided show that by late October 2024, the student had missed 18 consecutive days of school. Records also show that her mom told school leaders hospitalizations and health issues were at the root of her daughter's absences.
Last year was rough. I had my third stroke. My son started being stressed and ended up in the hospital. He has usually been my backup when I'm down to get her to school, but he was in the hospital, so he wouldn't have been able to get her to school.
For weeks, records show the district called and met with her mom to discuss how to get her to class. She wanted a bus to pick her up. The district asked if it was an option for her to walk with other kids. Multiple times, campus leaders said they could technically withdraw the girl because she had too many days of non-attendance. Campus leaders said that would also result in filing truancy charges against the mom.
My concern wasn't for the school and it wasn't for the court. My concern was for the safety of my child.
In Texas, school districts are allowed to withdraw students if they miss a certain number of days consecutively. Our team wanted to know how often that happens, but we learned the state doesn't really have a clear answer. Districts do have to send annual data to the Texas Education Agency, citing one of 19 reasons why each student leaves school. The reasons include returning to their home country, switching to homeschool, or going to private school. But what's missing is a category that solely tracks how often districts withdraw students over attendance issues. Instead, we found that falls under a catch-all, Code 98, largely for students who dropped out. We also discovered the state doesn't track when the youngest students leave school at all. TEA says it only collects that data for grades 7 through 12 to align with federal reporting requirements. State Senator Judith Zaffirini has for years filed legislation to improve attendance outcomes. In a statement, Zaffirini called the gaps in the data troubling and said she would work to strengthen policies that put students first next session, adding, if we don't track withdrawals and leaver data accurately, we risk overlooking young Texans who need our support the most. Researchers like UT Austin's Dr. Joshua Childs agree.
The more finite that we can get in terms of our data collection and as far as our data analysis, as far as our codes, the better information we have. Various states collect data in different ways, and it would be nice in a state like Texas to really get some of that more qualitative, what's happening in the data.
There are other states that collect more detailed data, like Florida, where districts must specifically report when they withdraw students as young as kindergarten level for non-attendance. And in California, where districts must report when students as young as first grade withdraw after being truant.
I felt defeated.
In the case of the 7th grade Paredes Middle School student, the very last note on her record shows that school leaders informed her mom that because she was not going to school, she was withdrawn. Campus leaders recommended homeschool options. Records also show her mom signed off on the withdrawal. Austin ISD did not agree to an interview, but said in a statement it does not have a policy to encourage truant families to withdraw to homeschool. The district said campuses create intervention plans and other options might be discussed with families. We learned the withdrawal meant more time the student was not learning, a data point the state is also not tracking.
With the way things went, my daughter missed school all of last year. Well, from November. I wasn't able to actually get her enrolled in the program until June of this year.
We looked at withdrawal data from every school district in the state and found Code 98 is the second most cited reason districts report for students leaving school behind graduation.
You can look at a breakdown of the top reasons students leave school and read our full investigation online now. Just look for the link in this week's State of Texas story on our website. Kelly Wiley, State of Texas.
The political chess match over redistricting started in Texas. Now California is making the next move. We look at a decision that could send more Democrats to DC and how this redistricting battle could reshape the fight over who controls Congress. On Tuesday, voters in California approved a ballot measure to redraw that state's congressional map to favor more Democrats. It's a move that would not have happened without Texas redrawing its map to further favor Republicans. Maddie Biertempfel reports on the reaction from Capitol Hill as redistricting efforts take hold in several states.
Even with California passing a congressional map to favor 5 Democrats in response to Texas's map favoring 5 Republicans, House Speaker Mike Johnson thinks the GOP will still come out on top in the midterms.
We do believe at the end of the day that we will net more seats for the Republican Party than the Democrat Party. I mean, everybody, that's the analysis.
Missouri, North Carolina, and Ohio have all passed new maps aimed at electing more Republicans. California's vote creates new questions for the 5 California Republicans whose districts now change, including Congressman Kevin Kiley.
The people of California have spoken.
Kiley says he will run for re-election next year, but doesn't know where yet.
My current district is split 6 different ways, so in that sense, I have a lot of options.
Speaker Johnson said he still thinks Republicans can keep 5 seats in California.
We're going to win that anyway. We're bullish. We're going to fight like warrior poets in California, and we're going to make sure that our Republicans get reelected.
Meanwhile, another blue state could join the fight. This week, Maryland Democratic Governor Wes Moore announced a redistricting commission. It comes after state legislative leaders said they would not move forward with redistricting.
We can't allow them to sort of cheat us out of the House of Representatives.
Maryland Democratic Congressman Glenn Ivey says he thinks Maryland should redistrict.
I think this is what we need to try and do at the moment to fight fire with fire and push back on what Trump and the Republicans are doing nationwide.
The redistricting saga started when President Trump urged Texas to redraw its map. In Washington, I'm Maddie Biertempfel.
California's redistricting plan is already facing a legal challenge. Less than 24 hours after the vote, the California Republican Party filed a federal lawsuit to block the maps. They claim the maps voters approved improperly factor in race, which would make them illegal. Attorneys who filed suit say they're hoping for a ruling before the end of the year. Meanwhile, here in Texas, courts will decide whether the state will use newly drawn maps favoring Republicans in next year's election. Last month, a panel of federal judges in El Paso held a 10-day hearing on the Texas redistricting plan. Whatever they decide is likely to be appealed to the Supreme Court. Time is a factor. The filing period for candidates who want to be on the ballot for the March primary started yesterday and ends on December 8th. Thank you for joining us again for State of Texas. I'm Josh Hinkle. We'll be back next week to bring you an in-depth look at Texas politics.